Oh, you're gonna have fun tonight. So Mayor Tettemer, I better not have written it wrong. If I wrote it wrong, I gotta fix it. Oh, thank goodness. I don't know why I've been doing that. So Mayor Tettemer led his second council meeting in Panama City Beach last week, and it was both hilarious and frustrating. And I say that because he has a little bit of help in Councilwoman Mary Coburn. So, but the other three council members, the new guy, Ethan Register, he's got his marching orders. The old timer, Paul Casto, and the most deceitful of all, the most deceitful reindeer of all, Michael Jarman. The three of them, you tell me if it looks like they had this scripted or if it looked just natural to you. Because what they do is a lot of these city councils over the past 7 years or so have created these citizen oversight committees, which are the opposite of that. Okay. So when they want to spend a bazillion dollars on some bullshit, on some stuff, they'll say, well, it's recommended to us by the Citizen Oversight Committee, by the Financial Board, by the Charter Review Board. They have all these different boards. And the ostensible purpose for these boards is so that they have citizen input. But we know they don't give a damn about what citizens want. If the citizens vote for a new mayor who wants to, spend less money on this exploding budget, or maybe do things that actually help traffic by making sure we don't have a whole bunch of events, big giant events at the same time, these kind of things. These guys, they don't want to do that. So they have these citizen boards that are really fronts. What they actually do is provide arm's length plausible deniability. So if they ever get busted for doing the crooked stuff that they do by not doing what the residents want, but doing what the big developers want, they can say, well, the board recommended it. The board recommended it. I'll tell you the most egregious example of this. And this is going to go over your head really, so I'll tell it quickly. Back, I don't remember, I think the special election was in 2021 when Doug Moore was elected in the special election, when 5 people ran for the vacated county commission seat because Sheriff Tommy Ford needed to get Keith Baker out of there so that he could put in his guy, Doug Moore, because there's $300 million of FEMA money flowing through there. And Doug Moore, he's got all the answers. They had to make sure Doug Moore got elected. How do you know for sure, Bernie? Oh, I know for sure. But so the point is this. Who's Doug Moore? Well, before he ran for county commissioner, he was the chairman of the oversight committee for the county commission to recommend how the FEMA money is going to be spent. Okay. So Doug Moore in, say, 2020, 2021, he's the chairman. Board of directors, here's how I think the FEMA money should be spent. Doug Moore, current county commissioner. Who else was he at the very same time? What other hat did he wear? Well, he was the representative for CDR McGuire, the FEMA management company, their consultant on how to spend the money. He was also their consultant. So on one end of the deal, he would recommend to the commission how the money should be spent. Then when the meeting comes, hey, there's Doug Moore. He's now over there with CDR McGuire recommending how the money should be spent. Doug Moore was on both sides of that. And Sheriff Tommy Ford said, we got to get him in office to protect everybody. So these oversight committees are the very opposite of an oversight committee. They are a protection racket for the racketeers. That's what they really, really are. So what you're going to see tonight is Panama City Beach trying to you know, fill some places on that, but also they each also sit on a board, right? Remember the Tourist Development Council, the TDC, that gets tax money from tourists, the bed tax, right? Talk about a slush fund. Remember, Mark Money Mover Sheldon has gotten about $1 million a year since 2015. 2015, he got 1.5 million. He was getting 1.5 million a year for several years to his companies to put on Sand Jam and Gulf Coast Jam, and then it dropped to about half that. But he's gotten well over $10 million in tax money, bed tax money. So what board, see if we got how smart we are. What board do you think, under no circumstance, can the new mayor, Stuart Tettemer, what board do we got to make sure he's not on? Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you're going to love this. And the other very important board for the racketeers is the DOT board, the Department of Transportation board. They've got big plans with that too. So these are the two boards they've got to make sure that the mayor's not on. They got to make sure their cartel guys are on. You're going to see some of the most incredible jockeying. And tell me if you think it's organic or if you think maybe it was planned in advance right after this. Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
All right. I had to run and get some water. I forgot to get my water. I tried to be slick, but I wasn't that fast. Okay. This is so good. You're not going to believe it. So let's cut to the meeting last week. All right, I'm gonna jump in here. I'm not exactly sure where it begins, so we're gonna watch together until we find it.
No, covered everything. Okay.
For both the street lighting and the irrigation within the corridor.
That is the
designed to be compatible in the plans with the permanent location.
Oh my gosh.
Of the utility.
That's Mr. Passmore.
Because that has not advanced along with the project, and it's subject to the schedules of FPL to do that, we need to, in order to get the lights functioning and to get the irrigation.
They're always behind on all this stuff. All right, so let's get to.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman
There we go.
Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, next up, it's the planning board vacancy.
All right, so planning board, not that big a deal. They don't care too much. The two boards that they're going to panic about, that they got to make sure that Mayor Tettemer or Councilwoman Coburn, they can't be on the TDC board or the DOT board. So let's just watch a little bit of this.
I've been pleased with the public response. Thank you, everyone who submitted your applications for the planning board. At this time, we will make our selection.
So these are for planning board members. I'm gonna skip past this until they start.
Appointment, these come from council.
Okay.
Nominate another person as part of your discussion. You can do that. And
Yes.
Oh, here's where it gets good.
Nominate another person.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, look at the body
Or
language.
for other city.
Just so you know, I just didn't want
For this item.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen now. Now it's to decide what boards the council members and the mayor actually sit on. All right. This is where it gets good.
That's a job.
because he said,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Vice
Here
Mayor
we go.
Jarman.
yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer.
Yes, ma'am. Next is resolution 24-129.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving purchase and sale agreements for land needed for the Front Beach Road Segment 4.2 project in the total amount of $237,747.60.
Mr. Passmore.
Okay, this is more CRA stuff. I'm sorry, we're gonna get past this
Planning
part.
Board. Right now, we have board appointments. I think we agreed to go in
Here we
order.
go. Oh my gosh.
An alphabetical order for this one.
You skipped number 9.
Did I skip number 9?
No, I don't think so.
I think you had numbering just wrong.
Oh, no, we added number 1.
That's right.
So it shifted
Oh,
the
I
rest of
got
them
you, I
down.
got it. Okay.
I know.
The old man.
I know. I messed up some of the numbers earlier, so we all take a turn there. Okay, so council board appointments, formerly number 9, now number 10. Let's do these in order of appointment. These come from council. So, audit committee chair. Any discussion? Is anyone?
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I think that's traditionally been the place of the mayor. So
Okay.
I nominate the mayor.
I'll say.
So I'll tell you what they're doing. It's the the two guys who are they've been there a long time is Mike Jarman, the guy here, the most deceitful guy on the entire board, and Paul Casto. So they want to get the mayor on some boards, get him on the audit board, and then later on get him on the board to the Florida League of Cities, because they want to make sure they're on the TDC board and the DOT board. That's where the big slush funds and kickback projects are. So that's why they're trying to get him on the audit committee, but that may backfire on them.
Look at that.
I'll second that. All right.
Ms. Fazzoni?
That was easy.
Is there-
Nice and easy. The first one, first board.
Next one up is
Oh,
estuary.
I'm sorry.
We
You
gotta
still
take-
need,
we got to take a
you
vote.
still need a
Yeah, take
motion and
okay.
and a
Yeah,
vote.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
We got a motion.
Is there a motion on this?
Yeah, there's a motion.
Yeah, you'll need to make a motion and a vote on,
Okay.
Okay.
on this if you only have one.
We had a motion
So-
in a second, right?
Yeah.
So
okay, we did.
moved.
Ms. Fazzoni,
Okay.
please call roll.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer.
Yes, ma'am. Next up is estuary committee member. I think, Mary, you're very interested in ecology.
So I see your comments that you're not able to hear are you able to hear it at all? Or is it just that my voice is loud? Here, I'll turn my voice down a little bit. Let's see if I can do anything about that. I'll see if I can make an adjustment, but that's just the way that they're. Here, I'll try and do my volume up, stereo. I just think it's, hopefully you guys are going to be able to hear it. Let's see if this helps at all. You are allowed the videos now. Let's see. I'm gonna do my best. If this doesn't work, it's just not allowed video. See, they want to get them on the boards. Anything but the TDC and the DOT board. Oh, here's the fireworks. Okay, so remember, this is the one where Mark Sheldon is getting all that money. This is where it's at. And so immediately Casto has an idea, because Casto's on the TDC and he has 2 years left on the TDC. So here's what he does.
Grow that
All right, here we go.
and have the council appoint 2 new.
The place of the mayor. So
All
right, here we go.
One up is estuary.
I'm sorry.
we
You
gotta
still
take-
need,
we got to take a
you
vote.
still need a
Yeah, take a
motion
vote.
and
Okay.
and a
Yeah,
vote.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
We got a motion. in a
Is there a motion on this?
Yeah, there's a motion.
Yeah, you'll need to make a motion and a vote on,
Okay.
Okay.
on this if you only have one.
We had a motion
So-
in a second, right?
Yeah.
So
okay, we
moved.
did. Swazzoni,
Okay.
please call roll.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer.
Yes, ma'am. Next up is Estuary Committee Member. I think Mary, you're
You can hear that now, right? You can hear it now. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. Here we go.
very interested in ecology.
It appears so, yes.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that. I would make a motion for Councilwoman Coburn to serve on the estuary
I will second that motion.
committee.
Okay. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here comes the
Next
TDC.
is
Watch.
Tourist Development Council.
Mayor, I have an announcement to make before we vote on this. Having served on the TDC for the past 4 years, I think it's time for a change on the TDC board. So I'd like to forego the rest of my term, which is, I have 2 years left, but I'd like to forego that and have the council appoint 2 new members tonight. Councilman Jarman is our next most senior member, and I think he would represent the beach well. I also have known Ethan Register for several years and know that he understands our tourism economy as well as just about anyone I know. I think they both would do an excellent job, and I'd like to nominate each of them to serve on the TDC board.
Why does he have to read that? Think about this. Why does he? Who gave him that script? Casto had to read that. So he wants to pull himself off the last 2 years, but he wants to make sure that he nominates whatever he's reading from. Who wrote that? Somebody should make a public record request for whatever he's reading, because that is a document that he can't. Seriously, make a public record request for whatever he is reading from. That is a public record, and if he destroyed it, if he threw it away, he's in trouble. Public record request for Lynn Fazzoni for that, whatever he's reading from. Wouldn't you like to see it? Those are not his personal notes that he's just using to think. He read from that. Watch.
Board with me stepping down.
See?
Thank you, Paul.
Ooh, that's a lot for me.
I'd like to make a motion as well after we get a second on the motion that's on the table.
Well, we'll see what happens, and then I'll see what I want to do.
What are you talking about, Jarman? It's not even your decision. This is what you guys did at the first meeting. She's doing exactly what you guys did at the first meeting. And here, listen, Jarman is unbelievable. He's probably the most deceitful elected official left in Bay County, this guy. Mayor Tettemer's body language is cracking me up right now. Look at this.
Call roll on this motion.
So can we not consider another person as part of this vote?
I mean, if you want to nominate another person as part of your discussion, you can do that. And
Yes.
I think if we, at that point, I would probably suggest that you go to a paper ballot at that point, if you've got multiples, or you can have a motion on the 2 that the motion that's on the table, and then see how the results of that go, and then.
That's Cole's son, Davis, the city attorney.
No, I think that we should just do it all together.
Okay.
Like no paper ballot? Is that what you're saying?
No, we can still do it.
Like have a discussion
Oh,
and then, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
But I'd like to nominate our mayor as our representative to the Tourist Development Council.
Way to go,
Um,
Councilwoman Coburn.
Mayors have in the past sat on that council, going back to, I think it was Griffin, and I know Gail Oberus and Mike Thomas, and I believe there was another one that I forgot. And I think we kind of got away from that when our previous mayor had some conflict issues and would not always be able to vote on issues. So I think that our mayor needs to be on that committee.
And I will say, with all due respect to Councilman Register, there is a lot of representation for the tourism industry already on that committee. And given your day job, it may make sense to have more of a citizen's voice on that committee.
I can agree with that, but I'm also raising two girls in this community. So I also have the resident side in mind when it comes to the Tourist Development Council. I feel like I'm a great middleman. I work in the industry. It's the only job I've ever had is in the tourism industry. Worked with the same company straight up. Got my degree right here at FSU Panama City. I know this community very well. I appreciate Paul's kind words.
I believe that he works for Cody Khan at one of the resorts. I believe.
love to serve on the TDC.
How is the TDC's makeup? I know that we have individuals on the TDC that are appointed to the TDC that are ratepayers because they collect bed tax? And then what other type of representation is already on the TDC council?
So there are 2 seats appointed by the council from the council. There is 1 seat that has to be representing a business that collects the bed tax, and then 1 representative who does not collect the bed tax, and what we call a non-collector seat and a collector.
Just so you know, that guy right there, the city attorney, Cole Son Davis, he shared an office. He had his office in the same building as Mark Money Mover Sheldon did went for his Gulf Coast Jam. All right, so they spent like 3 years together. That city attorney, Cole Son Davis, and Mark Sheldon, they would sit together all day and plot and scheme. When Sheldon lost the election last month, he was flanked by Arthur Dumpster Diver Cullen, the campaign manager who's lost now like 3 elections in a row, and Cole Davis. Cole Davis, the city attorney, was involved in Sheldon's campaign. So yes, he knows a lot about the TDC.
Collector seat. So there you have 4 total appointments. 2 of them you are now discussing tonight. Both of those being that have to come from members of the council.
I believe that there may be conflicts of interest with your position. And that is one of the reasons I think that our mayor should do that. Plus, I think it would be really good for the mayor to be more involved with the TDC.
Have you confirmed the conflict? Have you asked?
So this is why I call Jarman, Mike Jarman, the guy just to the left of the mayor. This is why I call him the most deceitful guy, one of the most deceitful people I've ever known. Because he's going to say, he's the guy who always is never possibly wrong, because, he's always talking about the misinformation. And now he's going to say, if I were to make an accusation like that, I would have done my research and I would have had the facts. Mike Jarman, you're a liar. You're such a liar. How do you know, Bernie? Because I have written correspondence from Mike Jarman to people in which he makes claims about me. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what they are because it could possibly give away my source. I'm not going to do that. But I have Mike Jarman writing correspondence to somebody, making written accusations against me that he says are facts, that he's got the facts, and they're absolute 100% lies. This guy is about to say he only makes claims if he has the facts. Everything else is misinformation. Mike Jarman is a deceitful, awful person. So watch this.
No, but
I'm just asking because if I
No.
make a statement like that, I'm going to research it and make sure.
Liar!
There is not.
well, I don't know what they're going to be voting on. So it's hard to foresee whether there would be a conflict or not.
Certainly the TDC disperses money to.
There's collectors there now that there's no conflict there.
Exactly. They're already represented on that council. I think the mayor should be one of our representatives.
Of course he should.
Well, just to make it clear, I own zero business in Panama City Beach. I work for a business that is a tourism entity. So obviously I have no financial interest as far as me being an actual person that collects.
We're all residents, so.
So just so you know about Ethan Register, he was planted by Cody Kahn, who is a powerful guy. He's in the tourism business. He was one of Charlie Hilton's main guys. And I've had a decent relationship with Cody Kahn, by the way. But I know what his interests are. And there's nothing illegal about what his interests are. But Ethan Register, it doesn't know anything about government. He's there and he's told what to do. And he'll be faithful to his boss.
So we're all residents.
I call for a vote. Do we need a second? Or
We need a
just
second?
voting?
So we need,
Is there public
we need a
comments on this?
second.
No, I mean, under the law, this is a ministerial act. It's your decision. It's not under the.
Remember, Cole Davis was part of Mark Sheldon's campaign recently. He was there sitting with Arthur Cullen and Sheldon when he got the news that he lost. It's in that famous picture in WMB. He's got his head in his hands and the ladies are all rubbing his back. Right. But we don't make fun and we don't, get any joy out of that because we're above that. Right. Right. But there's Cole Davis right there. So Cole, look at Cole doing his part. We got to make sure that Mayor Tettemer doesn't get to the TDC. So he's working with these guys to pull this off.
Sunshine law, this is not subject to public comment.
Okay.
So that's my legal opinion for you.
Do we need a second on the nomination of the mayor?
You don't, I mean, nominations don't require a motion in a second, just the vote to appoint does.
Thank you.
So I think the council and mayor as chair, I would say that you need to choose the method of voting based on the 3 nominations that you have for 2 seats.
Okay. I mean, let's do a voice vote.
So in that case, you have a motion and a second
Mhm.
to appoint Vice Mayor Jarman and Councilman Register.
Mhm.
So you'd like a roll call vote on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Gasto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
No,
Mayor Tettemer.
No.
So they pulled it off. They kept him off of the TDC.
If that's the case, then
Okay, well, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. So Casto said, I don't want to be on the TDC my final 2 years. I'm going to back off and nominate Jarman and Ethan Register, the new guy. All right. So now they're going to go to the DOT, Department of Transportation, who's going to represent the board for the Department of Transportation. But the mayor hasn't even brought that up yet. So Jarman's going to say, well, geez, I didn't expect this. But if that's the case, I mean, if y'all really want me so bad to go, then I'm going to pull myself off of the DOT and watch what he does.
I'm not going to be able
Look how dishonest he is.
TDC and TPO.
You think this was pre-planned?
to be able to do it.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to step down from the TPO.
He's got 2 years left.
Paul?
I
No.
would love to serve on that. That's my background. I did
Yeah.
that for 35 years. So I would be happy to serve. FBI, you might want to look at this.
TPO, there's a huge learning curve to being on the TPO. And you've had excellent attendance and you've contributed a lot to that organization and they've invested in you as well. So I think that you should stay with them.
I must say, when I attended a TPO meeting as a visitor, he did a really impressive job.
Well, thank you. I mean, we've worked very hard
Oh,
over the
jeez.
last 4 years to get where we are. In respect to Councilman Casto, being 35 years in public works. So I don't think, there's going to be much of a learning curve.
Remember, the most important thing was to keep Mayor Tettemer and Councilwoman Coburn off the TDC board, which they pulled off, and off of the DOT. That's why Jarman is saying, "Oh, geez, that's just too much work for me. I'm going to have to pull myself out. Well, let's get Paul to do it. Get Paul to do it." That's what's going on here.
But I mean, I'm not going to be able to do both of them.
No, Mike,
I'm
that's
just
too
not.
much
I
work.
wouldn't be able to provide the level of service that I would want to provide. But on the TDC, I expect and will hold myself to the same level of service there that you saw at the TPO. So with that, yeah, I nominate Councilman Casto to sit on the TPO.
Look at this. Look at this.
Motion on that. Sure. I'd like to make a motion.
This is why, see, Jarman ran unopposed and Ethan Register ran unopposed. Mark Sheldon almost ran unopposed. But at the last few days, Stuart Tettemer could not allow that to happen. So he jumped in, changed his whole life, funded his own campaign mostly, but nobody ran against Jarman. If you had run against Jarman, if anyone had run against Jarman and Ethan Register, it would be 3-2 or 4-1 right now on the good guy side. But not enough people wanted to be part of this. And I get it. But, Mayor Tettemer and Councilwoman Coburn are only 2 votes. And you're not going to get, over the course of the next few years, if there is the next few years, God, I hope so, for all of us. What do you mean, Bernie? What do you mean? Well, I don't take any day for granted. But so in the future, what you're going to see is Ethan Register will always vote the way that his masters tell him to vote. All right, that's not going to change. So there's no hoping for the right thing there. With Mike Jarman, same thing. He is the new Jeff McConnell and Hector Solis. I mean, he's not acting in good faith. He's a deceitful liar. He's awful. But Paul Casto, if there's anybody who might act in good faith, and I mean, it's not 50-50. I'm betting that he won't. But the only third vote you're going to see possibly is a Paul Casto, and I don't expect it. I'm just telling you what the makeup is going to be at least for 2 more years.
For a vote.
Do we have a motion?
I'll second it. I'd be honored to serve if y'all would let me.
All these guys are so giving. What servants they are.
Suzzoni?
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
No.
Mayor Tettemer.
No.
I'm just loving Tettemer's body language. Watch this. Watch this body language. This is
For a
great.
vote.
Look at him. Who's he looking at? Whose face is he peering a hole through? Look at him.
I'd be honored to serve if y'all would let me.
Okay. Ms. Suzzoni?
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Look at Tettemer.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
No.
Mayor Tettemer.
No.
Now we got one more.
Yep.
I'm also on the ECR.
Okay, so watch this little skit go down, okay? You hear Jarman? We got one more. They've already got a plan for the next one. You think this is sunshine law violation? So now Jarman's going to say, there's the League of Florida League of Cities. And it's such a garbage activist group. Florida League of Cities sucks out loud. It might as well be the World Economic Forum. They're horrific. They fund all the lawsuits for the city and everything. The Florida League of Cities plans and schemes with uh, with all the bad stuff, hotels for migrants, all the stuff. And they want to inundate the mayor with that. So watch. I think you ought to do it, Mayor. You ought to be in there. You ought to go to that too. Well, let's get the mayor out of here and into that. Watch. Watch Jarman act like, I got an idea that just came to me.
See. So I nominate Councilmember Coburn for the ECRC.
Oh, this is the ECRC. I'm sorry. I don't even know what that is.
Remind me what that acronym even stands for?
Emerald Coast Regional Planning Council.
No, thank you. I've got the estuary committee and I've got the TPO. That is
No.
for me.
That's a tie-in to the TPO. So,
That's
all right.
part of
Well,
Oh,
then,
I-
the TPO duties.
Then
Yeah.
let Paul
Okay.
do it.
all right. So moved.
Mary's like, you
Second.
got it. You're out of your damn mind.
Second?
Let's call roll.
She's a firecracker. I love her.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer.
Yes, ma'am.
We also forgot one mayor, the Bay County League of Cities. I
Do you think they had this planned in advance, or do you? This is amazing.
currently sat on that. I've sat on it for 6 years. And sitting on that, it's mostly mayors of other communities, and every quarter they bring in a speaker like the airport director or the port director, the guy that runs Tyndall, the commander of the base. And I would like to step aside on that also and nominate you to serve us as Bay County League of Cities, if you'd be interested in doing that. I think that you get updates of what all's going on when the legislature's in session, what's happening over there. And it's mostly mayors make that up. I don't know how I got on it, but anyhow.
Watch this.
Well, you were vice mayor.
But I think you would represent us well, so, and I think you would enjoy serving on that.
Yeah, I'd be honored.
You see the class that Stuart Tettemer has. He knows what first of all, if you don't know this, I'm not lying to you. I'm not exaggerating. Stuart Tettemer is a genius. I mean, he is the smartest dude. I'm blown away by the guy's intellect, by his the way he synthesizes information. You have no idea how brilliant this guy is, and he also has a servant's heart, and so he knows the game. He's so far ahead of these guys right now. He said, "Sure, I'd be honored." He understands where he's at right now in this whole process. But did you catch this? And I want to get your opinion. When everybody laughed at Paul Casto, when he goes, "I don't even know how I got on there," and Stuart says, "Well, you were the vice mayor." It's not hard to figure out there. Everybody laughs. Everybody in the whole room dies laughing, and that embarrasses Paul. So I was told, and I looked it up, and it sounds to me like it's true. So Paul's embarrassed because the mayor says, "Because you were the vice mayor. What's so hard about that?" And he goes, "Well, I think, son, you'd be good at that." So I think that's what Paul says. Some people say, I think he said so. So I'm going to play this 2 more times, and you tell me, does he say, listen real close, put your ear to the TV or whatever. Does he say son? And with the context behind this, I think he says son, because everybody just laughed at Paul. Now Paul's pissed. Now, son, I think you should do it. Pulling out the old Mike Thomas. Let's see.
Every quarter they bring in a speaker like the airport director or the port director, the guy that runs Tyndall, the commander of the base. And I would like to step aside on that also and nominate you to serve us as Bay County League of Cities, if you'd be interested in doing that. I think that you get updates of what all's going on when the legislature's in session, what's happening over there. And it's mostly mayors make that up. I don't know how I got on it, but anyhow.
Well, you were vice mayor.
Does he?
I think you would represent us well, so, and I think you would enjoy serving on that.
Did he say, I think you'd represent us well, son? I think you'd enjoy doing that? Or did he say, I think you'd represent us well, so I think you'd enjoy doing that? I'm going to play it again. I think he said, son. I'm going to take a poll, and don't write what you want him to say because, you know, it'd be fun to blast him or whatever. I don't think it'd be fun to blast him. In fact, I'm not going to enjoy it if we have to, but I'm pretty sure with the context that he just said son to him. Watch, listen.
When the legislature's in session, what's happening over there, and it's mostly mayors make that up. I don't know how I got on it, but anyhow.
Well, you were vice mayor.
But I think you would represent us well, so, and I think you would enjoy serving on that.
Yeah, I'd be honored.
Like to make a motion.
So move. Second.
Second.
Ms. Fazon?
Okay. Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
I entered my vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Still have one for the TPO. Right?
Well,
One
All right. So that's enough. Was that something? Did it look to you like that was organic or that was planned in advance? There were two boards that they had to keep Mayor Tettemer off. That's the TDC that's been paying Mark Sheldon more than $1 million a year for a long time. And the, I think it was the DOT, the roads. That looked pretty scripted to me. Boy, everybody says son. I'm going to go with son. I think he said son. And I get it. You know, it's a Southern thing, an older guy talking to a 40-year-old, you know. But this is a meeting, and at the meetings, I don't call them Mark pay to play. I say, Mr. Mayor, you know, you're at a meeting. You should comport yourself properly, and I do. On a show, I can give them nicknames. I can lampoon them, and I do. It's the only thing that keeps my sanity. But yeah, that's got to be addressed, Paul. I mean, y'all think you're slick. Keep it up. Keep it up. Here's get away with all this stuff and win elections. Now they think they can continue to get away with stuff, but they're losing elections. 3 mayors in the last year, 3 powerful incumbents, because enough of us have had enough of them. And they're losing elections. And they haven't quite factored that in yet. They don't quite believe that's going to continue to happen. Once we get people to actually run for office so that, you know, Mayor Tettemer and Councilwoman Coburn, they're not being outvoted 3-2. It's a real game changer. This is already a game changer, having Mayor Tettemer. But he's limited to what he can do, right? All right. Yeah. Mike Thomas and I wore each other out. I'm only 38 years old. Look what he did to me. I aged 15, 20 years. Oh, man. All right. I want to also thank yet another sponsor for helping us get information out.
Strong, effective leadership. 3 words that could mean the difference between prison and your freedom. I'm Al Stallene, your Panama City Beach lawyer, 850-215-0628.
And of course, all of you who are patrons who throw as little as $5 a month in the tip jar, it's called crowdfunding, and couldn't do it without you. So if you're a patron, thank you. Thank you. You can become a patron at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It's anonymous, it's easy, and you can quit at any time. And of course, I want to thank the Unknown Patriot for your support, sponsoring the show, and helping us get the truth out. All right. I'll see you again soon.